You may recall that all GFS are compiled in domestic currency units. However, many financial instruments may be denominated and held in foreign currency units. How should we convert such instrument positions into domestic currency in order to record them in the GFS framework? Financial instruments in foreign exchange should be converted to domestic currency units using the midpoint exchange rate on the reference date, transaction date, opening or closing balance date. The midpoint exchange rate is calculated by adding the bid and the ask, buy and sell, exchange rate valid on the reference date, or the closest previous date if markets are closed, and dividing by 2. Let's look at an example. The government of Arctica issues a bond for 1,000 rupees during the fiscal year. The opening balance sheet showed a zero value because the bond was issued afterwards and there were no previous issues. Suppose that the exchange rate at the time of issue was 1 cube domestic currency to 1 rupee. This midpoint exchange rate was calculated based on a buy rate of 1.1 cubes to the rupee and a sell rate of 0.90 cubes to the rupee. Therefore, the bond was worth 1,000 cubes when issued. Then suppose that the market price for this bond remains at 1,000 rupees at the end of the fiscal year, and that the midpoint exchange rate has changed to 1.1 cubes to 1 rupee at that time. This other midpoint exchange rate was calculated at the end of the period based on the buy rate of 1.2 cubes per rupee and a sell rate of 1 cube per rupee, so the midpoint exchange rate has changed to 1.1 cubes to 1 rupee. Therefore, assuming transactions other than issuing the bond were zero during the period, that is, ignoring interest accrual, we should record this liability as worth 1,100 cubes on the closing balance sheet. Note the exchange rate change leads to a holding loss. Parenthetically, if the instrument had accrued interest of, say, 50 rupees by the end of the period, then the total rupee value would have been 1,050 rupees, which converted to Arctic cubes would be 1,155 cubes. 1,050 times 1.1 equals 1,155. This would be the value recorded in the closing balance sheet. Note, the holding loss has increased due to the impact of the exchange rate on the accrued interest.